Hey everyone, Darren here, back with another Patreon exclusive video, but this one is a special one. It's one that I want to insert and one that I want to be reoccurring on the channel. It is 5 questions that have nothing to do with reactions. So you might be wondering, where is this coming from? Well, as I've said before, I'm a big sports fan, specifically a Boston sports fan, and there's these people on the radio in Boston that I listen to nearly every weekday. I listen to it on the podcast because I'm over here, but they have a segment once a week that, as I'm sure you can guess what it is, 5 questions that have nothing to do with sports. And it is, though I love their sports commentary and that's why I listen, it is one of the most fun segments of the week. So I'm like, well, why can't I do that and connect with my audience a little bit more? You can learn even more things about me in this way. The format is simple. I'm going to answer 5 random questions that have nothing to do with reaction channels. Now, this first one, of course, I have curated 5 questions, but going forward, I want you guys to comment down below, giving me questions, and they can be anything. They can be personal. If they're too personal, I'll just choose not to answer them if I don't want to. But feel free to ask whatever you want. But I want you to be creative with your questions, and you'll see what I mean with these first 5 that I've chosen. So hopefully this is fun for people. It's Saturday night here, beautiful night. My wife is in Vegas right now, so it's just me and Frank. So I wanted to do something different. The edited version of Babylon 5 episode 9 is currently uploading in the background here. But okay, yeah, let's get started, and you'll see what I mean about how eclectic these questions can be. They can be anything, and I've taken some from what I've heard on the Boston sports station. So, my first question here, what is the best guitar solo? Now, what is the best? Not what is your favorite, because I feel like that's a little less interesting of a question, because and it can be like, oh, this is my favorite, and you don't really have to explain it too much. Like, your favorite can be whatever you want it to be. What is the best? If someone's saying this is the best, and this is like not an opinion, even though it kind of is, to call something the best, you still better have somewhat of an explanation behind it. And I have one that I think I can explain somewhat succinctly. Obviously, at the end of the day, not everyone's gonna agree with me at all. But my answer to this is the guitar solo in Michael Jackson's Beat It, played by Van Halen. I'm sure you guys all can picture it. Beat it, beat it, beat it. I'm going to stop that. Now, why do I think this is the best? Besides others, obviously it's brilliant and it's amazing, and it's so technically advanced, and yet it's very, oh, what's the word? I mean, sometimes when certain things are so technical, they can sound static and unchanging and be bereft of life. But this one is not. So there's that. But I also think it stands alone as a guitar solo. And the way I can best describe that is to use an example of another guitar solo, one that I love, by the one on Time by Pink Floyd, played by David Gilmour. If you guys can picture that. I love Pink Floyd's guitar solos because they're an extension of the song, and like when they start and like say the lyrics end and then the solo ends and the lyrics start up again, it seems super cohesive, like it's telling a story, but thus it wouldn't really be able to sit on its own without the rest of the song, and that's kind of how I think of Times. But this one here, I feel like it can stand on its own. I'm not saying it kind of is just inserted into the song weirdly. No, it flows, everything's good, everything's fine musically. But it kind of like, what's right before, like beat it, beat it, beat it, duh, 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 beat it, beat it, duh, 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 duh. So it's like kind of detached from the rest of the song. And that's why I think it could stand on its own as a guitar solo. and it's just so good. A little tidbit about it is that Van Halen didn't charge Michael Jackson for it, and everyone was like, "Whoa, Van, my man, what are you doing? What do you do? You could charge him tens of thousands," but he's like, "No, you know." And this is, of course, when Michael Jackson was getting very big. It's on his Thriller album. Like Thriller was really the album was what like catapulted him to the the icon that he is. Obviously, regardless of any other things he was doing. But yeah, so that's my answer there. Okay, let's go on to question number 2. What do you think about AI? And this is a very general question and stuff. And I think it's one that like people could make political. I'm obviously not going to make it political. I never am ever going to make anything political on this channel. But what do I think about AI? It's an interesting question coming from me because I am not an expert in AI whatsoever. I'm actually more of a buffoon. I don't really use it. Besides, when I type into Google now, I feel more comfortable typing more specific questions and it coming up with stuff. But that's just the Google engine. So I kind of fell into using it. I've never used ChatGPT before. So why are you listening to me about this? Like I kind of relate it a little bit to I was late on smartphones. Same way I'm late on AI. And people are like, "Oh, dude, you gotta start using AI. It's good for this and ChatGPT and blah blah blah. You're missing out. You're missing out." I was like, "Well, I mean, I was late to smartphones, but when I finally got my first smartphone, did I lament the fact that I missed out on earlier versions of the smartphone? No. I'll eventually start using AI, I'm sure, in ChatGPT when I get around to it, when I really feel that I need to. But my overall thoughts are somewhat in the middle, and that might be a boring answer. Do I think AI is going to solve everything and make all of our lives, every single one's better? No. I think it's going to fall short of that. On the flip side, I think that one day the machines are going to rise up and become sentient and take over. I also don't think that. I think people who think that are somewhat alarmist and whatnot. I think it's going to be somewhere in the middle. I did read an article recently that did make me excited. One place where I think AI is going to have the most effects on people's lives is in the medical industry. So, and do I know the details about how and this or that? No, I don't. I think too much is becoming, or too much is being said about AI in both extremes. That's kind of the long and short answer I have there. And I'm sure some of you watching can speak much more eloquently and in detail about AI. But those are my general thoughts. Question number 3, more of a sillier question. What's your favorite form of French fry? So we can say like shoestring, wedge, waffle, restaurant style. I'm kind of like a thin shoestring, thicker shoestring. And mine would be a waffle fry. Now, you don't really see those much anymore. And maybe one reason why that's my answer is because they're so uncommon. And when you see them, you're like, "Oh, fuck yeah, waffle fries." That all being said, I actually avoid fries. It's just I'm old enough now to where I don't need to be eating French fries. But it's still like, it's still a good, fun question to have. And when my guys in the Boston Sports Radio, there were 3 of them there. They all said shoestring, like they were like McDonald's has perfected the fry, and I was just like, what? I don't think so at all. Like McDonald's fries are fine, they're good, whatever. But I like the waffle. I do think that you go too far on the other side of the spectrum where like the restaurant fries, the big beefy ones, it's like you're kind of eating a wedge of a baked potato in a way, or a fried potato at that point. But so yeah, waffle fry, and even more uncommon, the rarest of beasts is the sweet potato waffle fry. All right, question number 4. So here's one that's pretty creative, and I stole from the guys. So, when you hear this one, just let this be some inspiration for you to come up with really interesting questions. What is the 10-degree difference in temperature that you perceive to be the most drastic? It's like 90 to 80, 20 to 10. You know what I mean? And mine is going to be 40 to 30 degrees. And maybe that's kind of an obvious choice because once you hit 30, you're below freezing. Technically, it can snow. But beyond that, forget about the snow. It's like if I walk outside and it's like 42, you know, I can walk to my car and still be like whatever. I have a sweatshirt on. But when it gets that 10-degree difference down to say 32 is where like, okay, I'm gonna need a coat, and maybe like I can even take a heavy coat, you know. So that's my answer there. You know, besides commenting other questions, you comment the answers of what you guys think to these questions as well. Please feel free. I encourage that. And finally, what's your favorite month of the year? Now, if you guys recall from a somewhat recent Patreon exclusive, I said that my least favorite month is July for various reasons. And hey, it's August 2nd right now. I'm glad we're out of it. And one of the reasons I hate July is because there's no sports except for baseball. And we actually did already start the preseason of football, which makes me really happy. But my favorite month is easily October, with September coming in a close second. September's kind of like an extension of summer now, so like points hit for that. October is when you're really out of summer. Sweater weather, leaves changing, leaves turning colors, and me being from New England, that's like a really big deal. Like the colors here in Denver of the leaves, they change mostly like to golden, but you don't really get many reds or oranges. You do in New England, so that's another great thing about October. And then I love Halloween. Me and my wife love Halloween. If you remember, if you've been here long enough, you recall that we have a Halloween party every year, and it's just like there's like this electricity in the air about October, and so yeah, that's my favorite month. So concludes the first edition, hopefully of many, of 5 questions that have nothing to do with reactions. If you guys like this and if you engage with it, I'll continue. If you guys all hate it, then I won't. But yeah, hopefully this is something enjoyable to bring to the channel. And yeah, maybe I'll do one once a week if I have enough engagement, and maybe a little less. But you guys let me know. Besides giving me new questions, besides answering the questions you see here, let me know if you like this at all. All right, everyone. Darren out. I love you all. Talk to you later.